Just watched a video on chewing gum to make you sound like an American. I thought it was interesting because when people talk about an American accent, what they're really shooting for is the lack of an accent, I think. Um, which is also interesting because Americans actually have many different accents, you know. When you're in the Midwest, they'll talk like Midwesterners, and you can hear it, you know. Words like car, you know. Let's all get in the car. Oh, that was a good time. It's interesting. When you go to California, um, when I lived in California, what I noticed was that people will switch between accents depending on their surroundings. I had a lot of friends who were, below working class service jobs, and so they would, live in East Bay, Oakland area, commute to the city to work, and while they were at work, they would speak, in the American accent, which is, hi, how are you? Are you having a good day? Thanks. All right. But then as soon as they dropped out of uniform, they would drop down to ghetto talk, which I can't even, imitate. It's like, oh, that was hella tight. It's like, it's crazy. You go down to Texas, you get the Texas drawl, which again I can't imitate. I think it's one of the funniest one, the Texas drawls. But the interesting thing to me is that the concept of an American accent is really pushed forth by television. That's really the main thing. Um, and I'm from Montana originally, so my accent is actually closer to this. It's the lack of an accent. But when I'm on YouTube, I like to don the little more interesting drawl, maybe an Easterner. I don't know. But what's interesting to me is that even though it's pushed by television, which is, primarily takes place East Coast, West Coast, both of which have very different accents, you never hear either of them. For instance, New York, you might watch a New York newscaster who was raised in Brooklyn, but he still talks like this, the nightly news. So, I mean, even we have a hard time imitating our own accent, I guess. Mostly because people don't notice it. If you were raised in Brooklyn and you go to Montana, people will notice it right away, but you won't notice them because their inflection is a lot more like what they hear on television. So it's interesting. I never heard of the chewing gum tip though. That was pretty cool. Possibly because speak proper American is just speaking as lazily as you can, like you pointed out in the video, teaching your T's to D's, dropping off your S's. It's like, I don't know. I think chewing gum probably helps because it keeps more of your muscles busy on things other than talking. So that's good. Yeah, I get the coolest example of a British person speaking with an American accent. I think is Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie's a badass. House MD. Is it Chester and Wooster or something like that? I don't know. Watching him on House and then watching him in interviews or in his previous works, it is crazy how well he got that down. So if you want to study someone, you should study Hugh Laurie. Badass. That's all I got.